Hey, my name's Rory. I'm an executive coach, and when the pandemic hit, I had to shift to doing a ton of my facilitation and leadership development work to Zoom. Then I realized that many people don't know how to get the most out of Zoom, so I built an entire course called Using Zoom Effectively to help other people unlock and use Zoom with confidence. And what you're about to see, I'm going to walk through how to open and use breakout rooms. They're my favorite feature of Zoom because they allow you to take a big group and immediately make it small and intimate, where you can have one-to-one dialogue, which is so important for meaningful experiences. If you're interested in the full course, go to usingzoomeffectively.com. For now, hopefully this helps you learn how to use breakout rooms. Thanks for watching. All right, here's the final interaction tool, and it is my favorite, and I have saved it for last because it's my favorite. Breakout rooms. Look down here at the menu bar, it's right there. Click breakout rooms. Now again, you're gonna have to imagine with me that there's more here than is here because I don't have a ton of people in this meeting. If there were 20 participants, this would say assign 20 participants into, and then you can choose how many rooms. So if I had 20 participants and I wanted to put them in 2 rooms, what that means is I've got 2 groups of 10. So you can pair people up. So I could say I've got 20 participants and I want to put them in 10 rooms. That's going to pair people up, and because automatically is checked, it is going to randomly pair people up. This is one of the most powerful and meaningful ways to use Zoom. And the sequence goes like this. Ask a reflection question and say you've got 2 minutes of silence to write or type your answer to that question. Give them 2 minutes of silence. After the 2 minutes, say, okay, I'm now going to randomly pair you up into breakout rooms where you're going to talk about what you wrote down as the answer to this question. If you wanted to, you could click manually, and it would allow you to actually sort everybody into pairs or into whatever. So I could say, you know what, I want to assign 20 participants, but I only want to assign them into 5 rooms. So that means I'm going to have 4 participants per room. So you can create these intimate table groups and pairs of people and have them dialogue. The rooms last for a certain amount of time. So let's say if I create breakout rooms. So obviously I don't have 20 people here, so there's nobody in these breakout rooms. But let me show you what you can do. So if I clicked assign, it would show me a list of participants and let me put them in some of these rooms. I can rename a breakout room. So I can call it something different, like Team A. So you can actually create like teams. So let's say you had a multi-day event that you wanted to run on Zoom. You could actually create table groups, let people come up with their own names, put them into those groups, give them these names, and then you can save those groups so that the people break out into the same table groups, or you can mix them up by day, or you can randomly assign people to table groups. So there's all these different breakout rooms. Let's imagine there's people in them. Let's look at some of the options that we have. You can move all participants automatically. So I chose manually when I initially set this up, so that's unchecked. I have it that they're allowed to return to the main session at any time. You can turn that off. So people have to stay in their breakout rooms until they all return back together. You can set them to close automatically after a certain amount of time, and you can be notified when that's up. When people get into breakout rooms as a participant, once I hit open all rooms, which I can't do right now because there's not anybody in them because I'm the only person in this meeting, but once I hit open all rooms, this would transform and it would say the breakout rooms, these people have now been invited to join a breakout room. Every participant is going to get a pop-up on their screen that says, hey, the host is inviting you to join this breakout room. They have to click accept. Their screen will transform and they will find themselves in a room with whoever else is in that room. And you'll be able to see on here who has gone into the room. And when you're looking at your screen over here, what you're going to see is everybody's gone into the room. So if you have it on gallery view, people's cameras will just start disappearing, like doop, 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 doop. They'll disappear as they go into their breakout rooms. Then, if you're going to close them down, so let's open up this options back here again. When you close down a breakout room, the way that we have it set up is I would click a button that says close all rooms. The participants will get a pop-up that says the room will be closing in 60 seconds. If they want to, they can go ahead and exit once I have issued that warning. So you can set it to 120 seconds, which gives people like 2 minutes to sort of wrap up the conversation. And I'm actually going to leave that as my default from now on. Because a lot of times people just don't recognize how long they're talking. So we'll pair people up. You can also send a message to all participants. So if you wanted to give a 5-minute warning as an example, you can send a message and it'll say, hey, 5-minute warning. It pops up on everybody's screen differently than the chat box. It actually pops up in the middle of their screen because they're in a breakout room. And then once you hit close all rooms, they'll get a countdown that comes up for 120 seconds. it'll close down, and they will all end up back in your main Zoom room with the same settings. Like if you had it all muted, they'll come back in and they'll be muted. Breakout rooms are a really, really powerful way to take a large group and make it intimate. Adult learners are much more ready to share one-on-one than they are to share one-to-many. So our default for a lot of work that we do on Zoom is one-to-many. We're presenting something, or we're talking to the group, or we're asking the whole group a question, and then maybe one person answers the question, but they're answering it and speaking again to the whole group. And it's really important that you break up that monotony. Adult learners don't want to be in the one-to-many setting for that long. Adult learners need to connect what they believe they already know to whatever it is you're talking about. We need to process. We need to experiment a little bit. Breakout rooms are the bread and butter for facilitators and leaders and trainers who want to help people talk to each other. It can be random, it can be random and automatic, or it can be manual. You can actually pair people up to achieve a certain effect. You can have small groups, mid-sized table groups. I recommend that every time you do something on Zoom, you find a reason to ask a reflection question, give people some quiet to think about it, and then pair people up and have them talk about that question. Then when they come back into the group, they will be so much more ready to dialogue and to answer questions about whatever it was that you talked about with them.